Welcome back. We left off with Don Quixote. Up here is the last lines of Finnegan's Wake, or the first, or whatever. And this is the hardest one I have. It's a way along, alone, a loved, along the way. A way alone, a last, a loved, along the. A way alone, a last, a loved, along the. That's it, right there. The last lines of Finnegan's Wake. Coming into the patio. Obviously there's a grill out here, and like I mentioned, if a guy can't feel like a man around his grill, I don't know where he can, and that's where I keep the first lines of David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my own life, or whether that station will be held by anybody else, these pages must show. Also out here is where I keep my horses, and that would be, thus they buried Hector, tamer of horses, a horse, my kingdom for a horse, the last lines of Richard III, and the first lines of Richard III, being now is the winter of our discontent, because this is where the winter is. Also out here, in my failed planner boxes, I'm no gardener, so I chose T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland, the first lines. April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out of dead ground, mixing memory with desire, stirring dull roots with spring rain. Moving back in. Come on, Copper. Come on, buddy. On the couch, and you say, just a moment, I've almost finished reading If on a Winter's Night, a Traveler by Italo Calvino. Let me get this one. The first lines of Pride and Prejudice. This would be basically my net worth right here in the coin jar, and it is a truth universally acknowledged that any single man in possession of a fortune must be in want of a wife. In possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Also, the vigilante fish sign would be The Old Man in the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. He was an old man who fished alone in a skiff in the Gulf Stream, and he had gone 84 days now without taking a fish. And regrettably, I actually missed one in class yesterday. I have a magazine basket. If it's not visual, it's difficult to remember. But the magazine basket is the last lines of White Noise by Don DeLillo. Everything we need that is not food or love is here in the tabloid racks. Tales of the supernatural and the extraterrestrial, miracle vitamins, the cures for cancer, remedies for obesity, the cults of the famous and the dead. Also, our very sad last line, wherever they go and whatever happens to them along the way, in that enchanted place on the top of the forest, a little boy and his bear will always be playing. Also in the mural we have Dante's Divine Comedy. Midway on our life's journey, I found myself in dark woods, that's the dark woods, the right road lost. The television is William Gibson's Neuromancer. The sky above the port was the color of television tuned to a dead channel. Kind of an interesting line, I think. The time, digital time on the DVR boxes. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness, it was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity, it was the spring, it was the season of light, it was the season of darkness, it was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. Moving up here to this very interesting, elegant, and distasteful pair of bullhorns would be, once upon a time, and a very good time it was, there was a moo cow coming down along the road, and this moo cow that was coming down along the road met a nice little boy named Baby Tuckoo. Also, there's an imaginary Roman head up there, Roman figure, and that would be I, Tiberius Claudius Drusus Nero Germanicus. This, that, and the other, for I shall not trouble you yet with all my titles, was once, and not so long ago either, known to my friends, relatives, and associates as Claudius the Fool, or that Claudius, or Claudius the Stammer, or Claudius, or at best as poor Uncle Claudius. I'm now about to write the strange history of my life, beginning from my earliest childhood, continuing year by year until I reach that fateful point of change, where some 8 years ago, at the age of 51, I suddenly found myself caught in what I may call a golden predicament, from which I have yet to become, never since become disentangled. That would be the first lines of Robert Graves' I, Claudius. Let's move on into where I do my homework. We have a global map. What's interesting is that we wouldn't have any sense of the globe if we didn't have a picture of it. You know, there would be no global thinking if there wasn't the map to look at in the first place. But anyways, because we do have Oklahoma, we have John Steinbeck's To the Red Country and part of the Gray Country of Oklahoma, the last rains came gently and they did not cut the scarred earth. Here in Africa, we have Walter Abish's Alphabetical Africa, which goes like this. Ages ago, Alex, Alan, and Alva arrived at Antibes, and Alva, allowing all, allowing anyone, against Alex's assertions, against Alan's angry admonitions, against Alex's admonitions, against Alan's angry assertions, another African amusement. Anyhow, as all argued, an awesome African army assembled and arduously advanced against an African anthill, assiduously annihilating ant after ant, and afterwards, Alex astonishingly accuses Albert as also accepting Africa's antipodal ant annexation. I like that line. That's a good one. Anyways, we're going to have to cut to a third video if you want to stay with us and finish the rest of the memory crib. We'll see you back here. Thank you.